All right. So this is the last night before the All-Star break and almost the last games for January. So the hockey pool for January, um, almost good to go, but not quite. Let's look at tonight's games, shall we? The Kings are in Carolina. Carolina's lost 4 in a row. Carolina was so close, and now they've fallen back again. The Kings won their last game. I say Carolina flips the script tonight and they win. Montreal's in New York against the Islanders. Again, the Doug Weight factor. Sure, give me the Islanders. Pittsburgh's in Boston. Pittsburgh killed Boston last time they played each other. I don't see any reason for that to change, so I would take Pittsburgh. Toronto's in Philly. Toronto's playing the best hockey I've seen the Leafs play in. I got to go back to when Cujo was their goalie, or Belfour. Back to when Belfour was their starter. I haven't seen them play this well since before the lockout that wiped out the season of 2004-2005. So, that being said, I think they suffer a setback tonight because Philly's desperate to assert themselves. And I think Philly will win the game tonight. It's going to be, it's a hard call. Washington coming off of a loss is in Jersey. They're coming off of a loss. Washington's going to want to win going into the break. I'll take the Caps on the road. Calgary. What in the world, Calgary? And now you're in Ottawa. Condon had a bad game. He's had a good game. Is he going to have another bad game? This could be a shootout. This could be and I mean not like a shootout, an overtime shootout. I mean just 5-4, 6-5 kind of game. I say that and then it'll be a 1-0 shutout, right? I'll take Ottawa. I like their game better right now. Tampa's in Florida. Tampa desperately needs to turn things around. They're coming off of a win in Chicago. I'll say they get the win in Florida. Columbus lost. They're going to be looking to win going into the break. I'll give them the win over Nashville on the road. St. Louis is on the road. They won their last game. They're in Minnesota. I'll take Minnesota in that one. Buffalo's in Dallas. Buffalo's won 3 in a row. Dallas has lost 3 in a row. Dallas has won 19 out of 49 games. Let that sink in while they lose tonight to Buffalo. Winnipeg. They lost their last 2. They're in Chicago. Winnipeg just looks like they want their coach fired. They really do. They look like they want their coach fired, and they could be ready to make it happen. Chicago, I think, wins tonight. Vancouver's in Arizona, and Vancouver's kind of become a news story based on they just keep winning, and teams that were ahead of them have just bottomed out. So Vancouver, I give them the win over Arizona tonight, going into the break, because Arizona's been awful. They've won 2 in a row, but I still think Arizona's probably the worst team in the league. San Jose, they've won 6 straight. They're at home to Edmonton. Edmonton's won 2 straight. I think San Jose wins here. I can't see Edmonton keeping up this winning streak. But yeah, it's kind of become a story, and it's worthy of note here that the Canucks currently are in a playoff spot, and they're full value for it because the teams that were ahead of them have just fallen off the pace, and the Canucks are playing well now. The reason that the Canucks are where they are, the reason that they're currently sitting in, I believe it's the last wild card spot. Yeah, they're in the last wild card spot right now. They're 3 games over fake 500. They're 3 games under real 500. They're playing well. 49 games, 52 points. They're ahead of LA by 2 points. They're ahead of Calgary by 1 point, and they've got 2 games in hand on Calgary. LA has a game in hand on them. They're 4 points ahead of Dallas, 4 points ahead of Winnipeg with 2 games in hand on Winnipeg, and they're 16 points ahead of Arizona, and they're 26 points ahead of Colorado. So wow. Or 24 points ahead of Colorado. Sorry. Huge difference, right? The Canucks are where they are because their defense has really been good. There's a lot of kids that are performing well, and there's some depth. The Berchi Granlund line has been solid enough that they've been able to win some games that otherwise they wouldn't have been able to win. And it helps that Calgary's bottomed out. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10. LA's 4-6 in their last 10. Dallas is 3-5-2. Jets 3-6-1, Arizona 4-5-1, and the Colorado Avalanche 1-8-1. And ahead of them, this gets even scarier. Ahead of them, the Blues have been 4-6 in their last 10. So technically, if you really look at it, the Canucks could be the number one wild card within the next couple weeks if things keep going the way they're going. Because St. Louis has been on a downward trajectory. Now, in the first round, if they're the number one wild card, they likely play the Sharks. If they're the number two wild card, they likely play the Wild. I don't like their chances in either of those series, but the Canucks right now are a playoff team. And if the Sedins get off the schneid, if Daniel can start putting the puck in the net once in a while, and I think he's had one goal in his last 16 games, if they can start scoring at a half decent clip, the Canucks could be a scary team to watch down the stretch. They snuck up on people. Ryan Miller's played better hockey than I think we'd expected this year. Markstrom's been a solid goaltender as well. Not tremendous. Miller's been fantastic. And the funny thing is, I remember early in the season, a lot of people saying, well, stop playing Miller and just play Markstrom. Miller's done. I don't hear anybody saying that now. But it's an interesting storyline right now for the Canucks. They've taken advantage of some teams that are on tough streaks, but that's what you have to do. The difference between the teams that make the playoffs and the teams that don't often are the teams that make the playoffs are the ones that take those easy 2 points against lower tier teams. And the teams that miss may struggle. They may get up for a game against, a conference leader or division leader, but they have a hard time getting up for those games against the teams that are bottom feeders. So seeing the Canucks taking advantage of the games they should has been encouraging. They still have fewer regulation or overtime wins than most other teams in the NHL. They only have 19 of them in 49 games. So we're not talking about a team that has really won a lot or played really, really well. But enough teams in the West have been bad that the Canucks are looking decent for a playoff spot. Decent in that if Calgary doesn't go on a hot streak, if none of the teams behind them go on a hot streak like LA, then the Canucks have a legitimate shot at the playoffs and a legitimate shot at respectability if they make the playoffs. And I admit at the start of the year, I said they were the worst team in the league. And I still think, man for man, if you look down that roster, there are some issues. Stetcher's been very good. Trampkin's been very good. This is why at the start of the year, I'm like, we don't need Goodbranson. And Goodbranson's been out, and the Canucks record's been better since he was out. Because, there are a few people who said, oh, well, look at McCann in Florida. He's not doing particularly well. Yeah, and Goodbranson's been hurt in Vancouver. What's your point? That doesn't mean McCann wouldn't have done well in Vancouver if he'd been kept for another year. It just means he doesn't work well in Florida's system. And Florida's got him playing a role that maybe he doesn't like to play. It's weird to me is all. I know that when Goodbranson goes back, it would be Biega that would drop out of the lineup, and nobody's going to miss Biega. But it's a funny balance the Canucks have right now. Very solid defensively, very good in net, and they take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. So, as much as early in the season, a lot of people said, well, Willie Desjardins will be out of work. One of the first coaches fired. I don't think so. I'm going to do a video tonight on coaches. I know I promised it a couple days ago. I know I promised it yesterday. I apologize. Today it's going to happen. There'll be a video on coaches, who I feel, and I'm not really going to get into who good coaches and bad coaches are, and here's why. John Tortorella. Great coach in Tampa. Good coach for the Rangers. Suddenly became a bad coach for the Rangers. Terrible coach for the Canucks. Now he's a great coach for Columbus. He's still the same guy. It's a matter of which team you're coaching and how they match up with your coaching style. So I'm going to take a look through and say, right, these coaches are safe, these coaches are and these ones are definitely in trouble. And I'll try to include the ones that I think should be in trouble. And that should be an interesting debate in the comment section. Looking forward to it. Anyways, yeah, the standings right now are fun, and tonight's game should be fun. So let me know in the comments below who you think is going to be winning going into the All-Star break, and which team surprised you the most? Surprised you in terms of being better? Surprised you in terms of being horrible? Or just not good enough? And not good enough, Tampa is there for me. But again, somebody didn't predict Tampa was going to win the Cup this year. Everybody predicted it except, oh wait, I didn't. But I predicted the Capitals, so egg's still probably going to be on my face at the end. I should have picked Pittsburgh. Or I really could have been crazy and I could have said Columbus. Because Columbus is going to win the Cup. And then everybody in September would have been like, are you insane? And right now they'd be like, he was so smart. But I'm not that smart. And Columbus still has never won a series in the playoffs. So no counting chickens right now. Um, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I'll be back with more to talk about later. Brad Marchand only gets a fine. Ridiculous. Should have been suspended. I'm baffled. I guess since it wasn't a slew foot and it was a trip, they didn't suspend him. I think that's ridiculous. It's a dangerous play. The slew foots he had in the past should definitely have had a large effect, and he should have been suspended. That fine, he's not even going to miss the money, and he's laughing right now. He's laughing because he could have ended Kronwall's career with that dirty hit, and he gets a fine for it. So I don't know where the NHL's at, but this safety thing that the NHL cares about, they don't seem to really care about it. You can run players over with dirty, dangerous hits and watch people not get suspended. So, and that's coming from a guy who's a Bruins fan. So, let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Thanks for watching. And if you're just browsing your way through, hit like and subscribe because it's such a popular thing to do. We're so close to 2,000. I can feel it. It's coming. And then a 2,000 video will hit. And it'll be great. It'll be awesome. It'll be bigly and tremendous. And it will have all of the best words. And it'll be tremendous. And it'll be the best attended video in the history of YouTube. There will be so many viewers that they'll need a new internet for it. And I'll win the internet. And you people will all win with me. We'll win the internet. And it's gonna be tremendously bigly and bigly tremendous. So with these alternate facts in mind, I bid you good day.